Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on the DCEU as well as the Snyderverse. And for today's video, we have some extra news that has dropped for Ben Affleck's cancelled Batman movie, and we have some extra new details to go over in regards to a specific character who would have been appearing during this film and what role they would have been playing if this movie obviously did happen. And we have some very cool teases coming from Joe Manganiello himself, who obviously plays Deathstroke in the Snyderverse, and he did basically do a podcast with Comic Book Nation like a couple of days ago, and I'll be breaking that down. And from the title of this video, you can tell that character is Batgirl. Now, by the time I'm recording this video, hashtag Restore the Snyderverse is on 1.42 million tweets. Wow, like that is just insane to think about. 1.42 million tweets in less than 24 hours. That is just insane. It is honestly mind-blowing, and it literally shows how passionate fans are to see Zack Snyder's vision continue with the Restore the Snyderverse movement. It's just great. Now, although this movie may never end up happening, now that this Batman project turned into Robert Pattinson's The Batman movie, there were some pretty cool things that was said about this film, which I just really wanted to talk about. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more DCEU content coming your way. Okay, so during one of the ending scenes of Zack Snyder's Justice League, we had a slightly different ending scene than that of the Lex Luthor scene which we saw in the theatrical cut. And in the Snyder cut, we had Deathstroke approaching Lex Luthor. And what happens over here is that Lex Luthor tells Deathstroke that he has something to tell him, and it is something that he would want to hear, and it's something very important. And this led to Lex Luthor revealing Batman's identity to Slade Wilson, and that Batman is Bruce Wayne. Now, obviously, it's no surprise that Deathstroke is an insanely skilled fighter. He's almost at the level of Batman. You could even compare him at the level of Batman. And with them being rivals for so long, and with him now knowing that Bruce Wayne is Batman, you guys could guess where this will lead to. So originally in Ben Affleck's Batman movie, this would have led to Deathstroke now knowing that Batman is Bruce Wayne. And a couple of months ago, we obviously had Joe Manganiello talking a bit more about Deathstroke's role in Ben Affleck's Batman movie if it was to happen. It is pretty interesting, and I thought of sharing it with you guys because I haven't done a video on this before, and then I'll obviously go over the Batgirl news later. But Joe Manganiello says it was a really dark story in which Deathstroke was like a shark or a horror movie villain that was dismantling Bruce's life from the inside out. It was this systemic thing. He killed everyone close to Bruce and destroyed his life to try and make him suffer because he felt that Bruce was responsible for something that happened to him. Now, in regards to Deathstroke's motivations to go against Batman, we don't know what it is in the DCEU because we haven't seen them two together apart from the Knightmare scenes which we saw in the Snyder cut. But Joe Manganiello did say that he blames Bruce for something that happened to him, and I honestly have no idea what it is, and we all don't know what it is because we haven't seen the movie because the movie is cancelled. But this was pretty much a setup for Deathstroke becoming the main antagonist of this film, which obviously would have been insane because just imagine seeing Batman and Deathstroke going at it. Like, it's something we have never seen before in live action, and I think it's such a missed opportunity because, as I said earlier, Deathstroke is one of the only people in like comic book history who can even compare to the skill level which Batman has. So this would have been one of the toughest challenges Bruce would have ever had to face, as Batman. So seeing Deathstroke and Batman going at it would have just been so cool to see. And Deathstroke, now knowing that Batman is Bruce Wayne, that would be one of the biggest advantages ever, because that would be the easiest time to attack his enemy when Bruce is out there as Bruce Wayne and not Batman, because he knows that Bruce will be a defenseless man when he's there as Bruce Wayne. He won't be able to defend himself using his fists or whatever Batman thinks he used to do, because he cannot take that risk of getting outed as Batman. So this would have been such a huge vulnerability for Bruce Wayne, and that would have been something really cool to see, and us seeing how Bruce would have coped with Deathstroke knowing his identity and how he's going to, try and protect himself. That would have been something really, really cool, and honestly, this is such a missed opportunity. This would have been so cool to see. Now over here, Bruce would have been back to normal Batman. So he's back to his no killing rule. That is obviously due to his restored hope which Superman has given him. So he is no longer a killing version of Batman like we saw in Snyder's Batman vs Superman. That version of Batman is no more. But also, Deathstroke was going to kill everyone close to Bruce Wayne. So seeing that, adding on to how he would have coped with his no killing rule, would have been something very interesting to see. And because, like Joe Manganiello says, Deathstroke would have literally killed everyone close to Bruce Wayne. So that could even bring in Alfred into the fold. Imagine Deathstroke killing Alfred. I wouldn't even want to imagine how Bruce would react to that. That would just be insane to see. Now, as I said, thanks to Joe Manganiello, we have some extra news about this cancelled project with the involvement of Batgirl, Barbara Gordon's Batgirl. So a couple of days ago, Joe Manganiello did this interview or podcast with Comic Book Nation, and he talks a little bit about this cancelled Batman project and basically Batgirl's involvement and Deathstroke's involvement to this whole thing. So he says the following: there was like a big huge showdown between Batgirl. Yes, Batgirl jumps into the fold and tries to help Bruce because Deathstroke is so fast he can anticipate Bruce's moments. And there was this huge fight in Gotham City where Batman is completely afraid because he realizes that he's finally met someone who can take him, and this leads to this big climactic battle through the streets of Gotham City. But yeah, it was like a real life psychological thriller where Deathstroke was like a shark. So yeah, this is very, very interesting. And as I said earlier, and how Joe Manganiello said during this podcast, Deathstroke is no joke. You would not want to mess with Deathstroke. When I say Deathstroke is an incredibly skilled fighter, I mean it. And that is clearly evident from what Joe Manganiello has said as well. Like, Batman is struggling because he can see all of Bruce's moves. Deathstroke can see all of Batman's attacks before they even come at him. And Deathstroke is so fast that he's able to dodge almost every single one of Bruce's attacks. Like, that's how, Joe is like putting it as, like, he can anticipate all of Batman's moves. So like he could see them coming before Batman is able to do it. That's how skilled Deathstroke is. And we all know how insane that warehouse Batman fight scene was during Batman vs Superman. So when you have two insanely skilled fighters like Deathstroke and Batman, just think about how freaking insane it would have been seeing Ben Affleck's Batman facing off Deathstroke. That would have been so cool to see. The fact that Batman is struggling and he needs Batgirl's help to take Deathstroke down, just wow, this would have been so cool to see. Now the thing over here is that in the Snyderverse, it seems like Bruce Wayne has already trained like different sidekicks and stuff, and since Batgirl is over here, it seems like he's already trained Barbara as Batgirl. Now we haven't had any references or anything like that to Batgirl, but we have had like a past Robin reference where obviously Joker killed Robin, and then we see Dick Grayson's suit covered in Joker's paint. So that was like, the only Bat Family reference which we had. I don't think we had any, especially for Batgirl. I do not think we had one for Batgirl at all. But over here in Ben Affleck's Batman movie, it seems like she will be appearing, and she's already fully trained. So she has been an experienced Batgirl for a while, and she has been trained by Batman. So it would have been very, very cool to see Batgirl's involvement in the Snyderverse as a whole as well. And the thing over here is that he would have been having multiple different fights across Gotham City. So Batgirl, Batman, and Deathstroke just going at it. That would have been so cool. Now over here, we do know that Batman will end up defeating Deathstroke at some point. He will eventually get the best of Slade and he will win. That's a no-brainer. And after these multiple different struggles he has, he will finally be able to overcome Deathstroke and defeat him. But before, Joe did say that Deathstroke ends up killing everyone close to Bruce Wayne. So if someone like Alfred was killed by Deathstroke, you would obviously expect Bruce Wayne to snap. But we know he doesn't end up killing Deathstroke regardless of what happens. So it would have been very interesting to see what, makes Batman not kill Deathstroke, especially with Deathstroke ending up killing everyone close to Bruce Wayne. It would have been very interesting to see how Batman just doesn't end up killing Deathstroke. Now we know Batman doesn't end up killing Deathstroke because Deathstroke is there in the Knightmare scenes. We obviously know that Batman and Deathstroke end up working together alongside Cyborg, Mira, and Joker to stop Superman and also help fix that ruined Earth, which Darkseid obviously has done. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below whether you guys would have loved to see a Batfleck movie where we have Batman facing off Deathstroke. I'm interested to see your opinions towards all of this. And also be sure to share me your opinions about Batgirl appearing on this cancelled Batman movie. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.